the things you may not be aware of is when I do these classes, I basically start from scratch. I hate making the same bag twice because I'm really not a production person. But one of the things, and the reason, so I made this bag before, but I made it raw edge. This bag is turned edges. And so when I'm making a bag, it's always the first time. And that way I get the opportunity to go through some of the problems that you may have. So let's go ahead and review where we are. I've got my I got my tab on now. Looks really great. Came out nice. I'm happy with it. Um, Everything looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do, I did make a few mistakes. I'm not gonna lie, but what we're gonna go ahead and do is go ahead and get ready to close this bag up. Now, normally you close your seam up on the side. Okay, so you just put it down and you have it in. But this time we're closing the seam a little differently. We have to mark our space, and we're going to do this stitch here. I'm going to go ahead and prep this bag, put a little glue on the edges, and do what I have to do to get ready to sew it. And really, for one of the few times you get to see me sew, because you're going to have to sew this a little bit different. But the bag is really coming along. I want to get my 3/8 inch seam allowance, and I don't want to mess it up. So what I'll do sometimes is simply take my silver pen and mark where my 3/8 is, so that I have somewhere where to line up my gusset. But in this case, I'm gonna do it. Normally, I wouldn't do it because I have my notches, but in this case, I'm going to do it just to make sure that I get it right, so that my bottom is not that far off or perfect when I try to sew it on, and don't have to do any adjustments to it. So let me just go ahead and put my glue there, get that prep, and then I'm going to take you over to my machine and we're going to sew it. So as you can see, I marked it out with my silver pen, and the reason I like to use the silver pen is that because you can remove it really quickly, just a little bit of water or damp cloth, and it'll go away. So the one thing about this particular way we made this bag is the last seam. So you're going to have to make really sure that you don't ruin the bag by sewing through the other side. So hold on to it and just do a little bit at a time. Don't speed rush through this, or your bag will be ruined. Okay, here we go. So hopefully we'll get through it. I don't want to make this too long, so to show you how I do it. And the whole thing is just to make sure that I don't sew through the other side of the bag. Keep it flat and try to keep it straight. Make sure you know where that other side is at all times. And as long as you do that, everything will come out okay, because it came out okay in the other bag. And you're basically turning it inside out as you go along. And I got this guide here. So I want to kind of avoid it. But that's how you work it until you get it to the end. And so I'm going to go ahead and, because you really can't see much at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. Okay, we got it on there. So, got it on there, looks good. When I'm through, I'll just take a little wet, damp rag and wipe this off, and I'll even get this a little bit smoother while taking a little heat to it, just slightly, and go over it, and then clear up my little few wrinkles I've got here. And but all in all, it doesn't look bad, and I'm happy with the results. Linda gets another bag. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is put on our bottom, and we have our bottom right here. So I'm gonna have to turn it inside out. That's why I'm not gonna remove my wrinklies right now, and turn this inside out, sew it, put some feet on it, and then Linda will come back and we'll drop in the lining and she'll be finished.